welcome to Worst Quality Crab, a podcast of Asian American stories and recipes from best quality hearts. I'm your host, Freesia Lee. Joining me, as always, is my husband and producer, Sam.
Hello.
On this episode, we have Amy Wong. Amy's the co-owner of Batch 22 Bakery, a specialty cookie shop in the South Bay. That's the south part of the Bay Area of California, for our listeners that don't live in the Bay Area. She and her boyfriend and business partner, Lawrence, have been selling cookies for 5 years and are about to open their first brick and mortar in Los Gatos. Super exciting. Welcome, Amy.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're so glad to have you. How are you?
Busy, stressed, extremely fulfilled.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I'm glad you ended on that last one.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I can only imagine what building out a bakery is like.
It feels like we're constantly being hazed.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
Like, I definitely feel that I would not recommend this process to anybody unless this was like the one goal they had in life.
Wow.
It does make us feel very super, though.
That's great. Do you feel like it's bringing you together as a couple and like if you can make it through this, you can do anything?
Yeah, this is a really great trial. I will say, since this podcast is very much about Asian American culture, like one of the things I always struggled with was just straight up communication. And so I just got rid of like most of my any passive aggressive communication that's like gone. Yeah, I just communicate a lot more efficiently now, I feel.
Oh, wow. Hey, you know what? That's a good byproduct of a maybe not so great construction process. I don't hate that.
Yeah, I do feel it's been a good trial by fire, and we talk about marriage and we're like, ready, let's just get the bakery started first, and then, anytime hope to get rich.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I've never had a bakery, but I have had 3 children, and I kind of feel like the thing you're doing is harder. Not gonna
I
lie.
know it doesn't cry at me at all hours of the night.
No, but like I generally know that no one's gonna come and be like, oh, sorry, that's delayed and it's gonna be another $10,000.
Yes, we get that a lot.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about food for real.
Yeah.
We are still technically in the season of Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year. And the dish that you have brought today is related to that and also is heartwarming for me because this is one of my favorite things as a kid growing up.
Oh.
And I sort of forgot about it, actually. Like, as a kid, I was obsessed with it. And then as an adult, I stopped having it. And so I sort of, like, forgot. So please tell us what your dish is and talk about it in the context of you eating it as a child so that I can also talk about it.
Good. The dish is, maybe I'll say it in, like, 3 languages. So
Yeah.
I know it as lingo. And then in Mandarin, it's niangao. And then for English speakers, I guess it's New Year's cake. I don't know. So
Yeah. Literally. Yeah.
yeah. My maternal grandmother, this is her recipe. And there's actually like no recipe for it. You know how Asians are, like 1 bowl of water and 2 slabs of sugar and 1 bag of flour with the green writing. We all have those recipes, and my experience with it growing up is my mom used to make it, and she would like steam a big thing of it for Chinese New Year, and that's how we'd know, like, oh, this is the dish that signifies it's New Year. And we'd have it every single year, and it was just the chewier, the better.
Describe the dish to people that aren't familiar with it, because I actually don't know how to describe it accurately.
I think it tastes like this very unique, delicious brown sugar. And it's a textural dish. So it's kind of similar to mochi. And you can have it steamed, cooled to room temp, and just cut slices. Or more commonly, we see people dip it in egg and then fry it. And it is like warm and really chewy. And it is just endlessly chewy. And I think the chewier, the better.
When I was a kid, I always pictured it as just a stiffer brown jello in my head.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
I can see why it's like hard to sell this to non-Asians because they're like, what is this?
Well, and when it is time to go buy one if you were to buy one, which we've done. It's just metal, like a round foil tray with this flat brown slab in it, basically, and like maybe a little red date, berry, and then a plastic lid over it. So you really have no idea. Like maybe you get a sesame seed on top, unclear, maybe. But yeah, it is really delicious.
Where do you guys stand on chewiness?
I sort of stand somewhere between like when you cut it, it should be firm, but then also if it like slumps in just a little bit, like that's fine too.
That sounds ideal.
Yeah.
I always like try to edge out my competition when I go to like Lunar New Year parties. Like I want mine to be the absolute most chewy.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always hoping that if I keep showing up with my really chewy one every year, that everyone else will just stop bringing theirs. Still haven't won, but
I like this.
Yeah.
This is kind of fascinating to me in that you make it, your mom made it, your grandma made it, because this to me falls under one of those things of like a human cannot possibly make this outside of a professional Chinese setting, which you obviously do through your bakery. So like you are that it anyway. But like this was not a thing that was ever made for me at home. It was strictly a like pickup with, dim sum or whatever. And that was how I was eating it. So like the fact that you make this is pretty incredible, even though I've read the recipe. It's not that difficult, but I still don't think I could ever do it.
I actually struggled with it for like a decade. So I started making it in college, and because like I wasn't with my family anymore, I was living in Toronto and I wanted to make this when it was Lunar New Year. So I don't know what recipe I started with. I think it was my grandma's recipe, which was like zero measurements, and I tried it. It was like always kind of underdone, or it just was not right, or it wasn't chewy. And so I would throw out like version after version. And then a few years ago, I started asking my aunt who lives in Hong Kong, like how she would make grandma's recipe. And she would start video calling me and explaining, like, okay, so this is the texture and this is how much water I've added. And then she just kind of manufactured some measurements for me, which was really, really helpful. So that was kind of the only way that I could make it work. And then this year was actually my first time having a really foolproof process. And I ended up using the Instant Pot instead because I was like, I have messed up even the steaming portion of this.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, no, I love that.
We've kind of added color to grandma's recipe.
It sounds like you've added consistency.
Yeah. I
For
really
the
want to make it
consistency.
consistent. Yeah. I want to make it the same every single year. And then I want to make like the epic, huge mixing bowl version that my mom used to make. Because right now I only make like a small one. Yeah.
Talk about your mom's version in this epic mixing bowl.
It was like deep, like I want to say like 5 inches deep, maybe 6.
What? Oh.
Yeah. And I think that she had to steam it for like 4 hours.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Because I make the 1.5 inch version and it takes like an hour 15. So I just can't understand. Like, I just suspect it takes her like half a day to steam hers properly.
Sam, have you ever seen one that thick?
No, that's what would she steam it in? Like a giant wok or something? Or is it a giant pot?
I think it's the same wok that actually, I don't know if I can find it, but my dad also used this wok for the next like 15 years.
Wow.
I think it might be in our family still.
Oh my goodness.
Was it larger than your average wok?
I think it was a normal wok size.
Okay.
Like, they're pretty big, right?
Yeah.
They're very large. Like 30 inches? No, maybe 17.
Listeners can't see this right now, but Amy is making like a big hug.
Like a bear hug gesture to...
So kind of large.
This is my memory from when I was like 5 or 6, so some details may be exaggerated.
So maybe you were just smaller.
Yeah.
And it seemed bigger. It was
That might
2
be it.
inches thick. No. Were you eating the whole thing? Like, how many people was this 6-inch go feeding?
Mine just fed like about 15 people a couple weeks back for Lunar New Year. And then the one my mom used to make, that would feed our family of 4 for like a week and a half.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's 40 servings.
Yeah, I think that people don't really want to have more than like 3 slices in a sitting or something. It's very heavy.
It
Mhm.
is a lot. It does
Yeah.
have that sort of flubbery, expansive quality to it in a good way.
Do you guys feel really full after?
Yeah. So I had it as a kid, and then I didn't really have it again for a long time. And then probably 10 or 15 years ago, Sam and I would like go to Clement Street, and I was like, well, I want to get one. Let's get one. I haven't had one in so long. And then we might have been hosting like dinner that year or something. And I remember like cutting myself some and just totally had forgotten like how filling it is, eyes being bigger than my stomach. And I was like, oh no, I
Too
have
full.
overextended myself on this slice.
It expands in your stomach.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then I think like we couldn't even finish it. And I tried and, like lesson learned. I was like, this is not a 1 to 2 person undertaking. Even this small one really is like a party dish. And I have to
Yeah.
think of it as such. So we have not had one again.
Oh no.
I think our kids aren't there yet, like texturally.
Hmm.
They're very sort of like picky with their textures. And also one is a like, oh, things are too sweet. The other is hit or miss. So like we'll try with them in a couple years, I think. And then maybe we'll have like the right number of people for even like a 6-inch one.
So like 15 people.
Yeah. 6-inch diameter, not thickness.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my god.
I'm actually not big on sweets either, so it's always up to Frisia
Yeah.
basically to eat it all. Sorry.
It's fine. I know what I married.
More for
I knew
you.
the undertaking.
Do your kids like boba?
Yes. Oh, maybe we should sell it to them as like it's boba in a cake form.
Yeah, I mean, even the flavor is close.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Like it's that sugary flavor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Brown sugar is their favorite flavor of boba, like brown sugar milk.
Yeah. It's a good way to introduce it, I think.
That actually, what is the flour base?
Oh, glutinous rice flour.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure. Not tapioca, but close.
Yeah. Very close. I have looked at a few internet recipes for niangao, and I think that you can probably find similar recipes to my grandma's. I just kind of look for like similar ratios of flour to water to sugar. And so sometimes I think maybe I should experiment with other recipes, but then I think about how the reason I'm making this exact recipe and the reason I took like a decade to experiment with it is so that I can have this exact one. And you can't really have 2 of them because you can't finish it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm.
yeah, I just think it's about connection. But yeah, you could totally find a recipe out there that's very similar in result, in chewiness to mine.
Yeah. What's important to you about making it your grandma's way?
It makes me feel like we're kind of honoring her memory. Like she's here with us still. She was 97 when she passed. So,
Wow.
got those good bonus years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the fact that she made it, my aunt makes it, my mom made it, and now I make it. So I think it's just one of those like passed on traditions that makes me feel super connected.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Hey, just a thought. Ningo cookie.
I have thought of it.
I don't think it works. I'm just saying the words and then you tell me you're the baker.
I am very torn because on one hand, I feel that some things are meant to stay in their original format.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I want this to be so chewy.
Mhm.
And then my cookies are like crisp edges and these like soft, tender, like melt in your mouth centers.
Mhm.
And it's like, if we introduce chewy, like how chewy do we want that? Do we want like a soft chewiness, or do we want chewy?
Mm-hmm.
So that might be like a disconnect. It may not work for the format of the cookie.
Mm-hmm.
And then also it might be sacrilege.
Fair.
Yeah.
That is fair. How did you get into cookies? Like, I guess I'm curious if there's a connection from, not necessarily Lean Go, but like your mom cooking, your grandma, some of these recipes that led you into cookies and some of the things that you do now, or total fluke.
I think total fluke. I was in New York once and I tried Levain Bakery or Levain, however they call it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And that their oatmeal raisin cookie changed my life. And I was like, I have to have this all the time. So I started to try to copy it. And at some point I thought, oh, I think I've outdone myself. And I just kept on making my own recipes after that.
That's amazing. Can I tell a funny story about that? That's not related to
Please.
anything.
Yes.
So a friend of mine lives in New York and her dad was visiting. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Papa Fox. And she was like, you have to go here, get the cookie. And he went without her. And he was like, oh, they didn't have any cookies, but I got a scone instead. And it was really good. It was fine. And she was like, how did you go? And there were no cookies and you only got a scone, and like confused. And it turns out, no, he actually got the oatmeal raisin cookie. It's just so thick that he thought it was a scone, which
That's fair.
I can actually understand.
They look
But I
like
thought that was
scones.
pretty hilarious. They do look like scones.
Yeah, that is hilarious. I
Yeah.
love that story. That's a common question I get when presenting my cookies, or at least like previous versions of them. Maybe 5 years ago, mine might have looked like scones, and now they have like a little bit more spread.
Mm.
Yeah. But it is also kind of taboo to say that my first one was oatmeal raisin because nobody likes raisins.
I mean, I like oatmeal raisin. I'll just say that. And also, once you've had that Levain one, like, it's the best oatmeal cookie that I've had to date. You can make
Yes.
me a better one, Amy. You can
I
outdo
can.
them, and I will absolutely take that. But sometimes there is a place for raisins.
Yeah, I really think so. I feel like they're, I don't know, how do I say, like plump, juicy, like they complement the toasted oats and such.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Were you doing any baking as a kid? Or were you like one of these we didn't bake growing up households?
I think I did love sweets and I did want to bake a lot, but I think what I made the most was probably jello because we just didn't have like a lot of ingredients. So I think I tried but couldn't. And I feel like we ate sort of healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So my baking aspirations were more like a whirlwind of like tons and tons of experimentation after like 2016 maybe. So
Mm.
I want to say like my 20s, not early childhood.
What were the sweets that you were after as a child? Couldn't have just been Jello.
Yeah. Good question. I don't think any of us were cake people.
Mm.
Unfortunately, I think Asians are after the not too sweet desserts, and cake is just
Mm-hmm.
American cake is usually like so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I ate everything but like mostly cookies, a lot of like Asian breads, Asian desserts. I think at least once a week, my dad would take us to the grocery store and we'd pick out some sweets and breads.
Mm. What were you picking? I assume this Asian grocery store.
Yeah, like the Shanki type or like stuff at Ranch 99. I'd
Yeah.
get the stuff with the red bean, like boa bao with the red
Mm.
bean filling.
Yummy.
Yeah.
But I think something from my childhood that did kind of bleed into my experimentation was my dad has this weird obsession with lasagna.
Oh.
And in fact, he has this dish that's specifically made for lasagna to take out like different rows.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, is your dad Garfield?
He had a Garfield stuffed animal in his room for a long time. Is that a thing from Garfield?
Oh, like a different another dad I know.
Oh.
Yeah, Garfield loves lasagna.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, my dad would experiment like crazy. It'd be like meat sauce, crab
Mm.
meat, white sauce, red sauce, like tons of
Oh.
iterations.
Interesting. I actually started making lasagna for our kids too.
What goes in it?
Nothing.
They just like sauce and cheese and noodle.
It's the saddest lasagna.
They like the Mexican blend of cheese too.
That's my taste as a kid.
Yeah.
I would trade out my Chinese lunch for a cheeseburger, and then I would take out the meat.
Oh my goodness.
Amy, that's just a cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
I think I just wanted grilled cheese. We didn't grow up with that.
Oh. But grilled cheese is just a lasagna without sauce.
Ooh,
Sorry, too far.
that's not wrong. I accept that.
Okay. Wait, we have to go back to lasagna. Your dad was just like, okay, I'm so fascinated by this because I love lasagna and also it is so much work that it is not a thing that I'm like, you know what I'm going to experiment with today? A thing that takes 4 hours.
I think he got it down pretty fast. Like, he could do it pretty efficiently. So I can't tell how long it took him, but he could sort of easily prep it for dinner.
That's very impressive.
But I just remember, like, I thought he was crazy because he kept doing the lasagna thing. But it was, like, also really cool that he was doing it because it was, like, really so obsessive that you had to respect it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Is this a trait you maybe picked up on, ma'am?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I remember telling Lawrence the story about the lasagna, and he was like, "That's you." Like, what? I'm not like my dad. Yeah. I also do the iterations like a complete mad person.
I mean, you have to though, right? Like to get your cookies right?
Yeah, I kind of love it, and I always blog about the flavors that were hard to make, and then, like, I always think no one's gonna read them because they're really nerdy. And it'll be like, these are the several types of ginger that we tested for ginger molasses. And it'd be like fresh, ground, different types of ground, freeze dried, and then just a breakdown of how all those versions turned out and which one was like most ginger forward in the back of mouth or front of mouth experience. But actually, people read them, and that's very nice of them.
I mean, I was going to say that's actually really helpful because sometimes I need to know that.
Yeah. For all of your baking endeavors.
Yeah. Well, especially because I feel like, and you know, a past guest, Hedel Savda, she was talking about how she can't make adjustments along the way. Like you just make it and you go and then you like eat it and then you can iterate on that. And so for me, a person that does not want to do that, if you tell me like, oh, you can use ground ginger and it's going to feel this way and whatever, and I'm not looking for that, and I'm actually looking for like maybe chopped candied ginger that's whatever, then I know so that I don't have to make these dumb cookies again or like eat them and then be like, oh, this isn't what I wanted.
Yeah.
Who will I give these away to? How many will I have to eat before it's okay to compost?
Exactly.
So thank you. That's all very useful.
Yeah. I have to shout out 2 relevant people. I think the first is this blog that I found a few years ago. It's my friend Pancake Princess. Her name is Erica, and she tests like several internet recipes so that you can find the version that suits you. So, like 9 snickerdoodle recipes, and here's classic, here's like this one's sweeter, or this one's more this, or whatever. So I find that to be really helpful for a lot of things.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, she has a lot of bake-offs, and it's always so fun to see like, oh, this one was like the crowd favorite, and this one was like personal favorite or whatever. She has notes on all of it.
Nice.
And then my other shout out is my friend Cynthia, who she was my best tester for our ginger molasses pudge. And I would just go to her office and give her a cookie, and she would devour the whole thing in front of me. And it is the size of my face. Like, that's how big our cookies are.
Wow.
Amazing.
How satisfying is it to watch someone just eat a whole cookie in front of you that you made?
It is amazing. I don't want to like stare or anything, but I'm like, oh my God, they're eating the whole thing. That's so nice. It's so gratifying. Yeah. And she just gave me the best notes on like where the flavors are hitting, like where the taste experiences in your mouth. Like, are we getting ginger in the front of mouth? Like, where is the heat? Is there warmth after? Like, what's the aftertaste? She kind of helped me figure out like the words to describe the journey.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It sounds like you do a lot of experimentation. Like, how do you keep track of everything? Do you take like very detailed notes, or like what's that like?
Yeah. Shit, I've lost several recipes from poor note taking. So
Mhm.
now I have very detailed spreadsheets.
Oh.
Yeah. We have officially like 23, 24 recipes that are completely ours, completely final.
Mhm.
So now I have like a really nice template, and then I just use that same template, and then I always write down like this is what I'm testing for, and then like really, really detailed notes, and then what I think should be the next steps.
Okay, Amy, what'd you do before cookies?
I worked in tech and marketing.
Oh, okay.
One of those
Yeah.
classic. I wouldn't say it was like a case of burnout, but it was more like I clearly was not like hunting for a job after I left marketing.
Mhm.
I was just making cookies, making bread, studying food science. And then, yeah, Lawrence was like, why don't we just sell? Like, you're already doing the work for free.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How did you I mean, this is the most backwards conversation, but like, how did you get into tech marketing?
Oh, I studied communications at York University in Toronto. And then
Mm.
I guess I wanted to make some money. So I applied to jobs in tech and got a communications role at a company in Sunnyvale. And then an internship became a full time. And full time, I was there 3 or 4 years and then switched to a marketing agency.
And then you found the thing that you really love.
Yes, the cookies.
We all love cookies. Amy, you have some Asian flavors
Yes.
in some of your cookies. Are they well received?
Yeah. I think the most popular one is the ube dulce.
Mm.
And then the other one might just be matcha white chocolate. I'm seeing a lack of Asian flavors here. I had been working on black sesame and I just cannot figure it out.
Can I give you a hot take on black sesame?
Yes, please.
Okay, so anytime Sam can attest to this, anytime I see a black sesame thing, I order it. And it never, with the exception of a black sesame queen amon at Bee Patisserie. What's up, Belinda? Great job. It never delivers for me.
Mhm.
Ever. So I don't think that you are super wrong in chasing this and also not getting it. I think that black sesame is elusive. There's something about black sesame that is like bigger in its lore than it lives up to, I
I
think.
love this hot take. What is your favorite black sesame dessert besides the Queen Amon that is just almighty?
Just the like soupy pudding.
That is so good.
That's the flavor that I'm chasing when I try to order anything else. I'm really just chasing that like lukewarm black sesame soupy pudding, whatever. I don't even
Yeah.
actually know what it's made out of.
Just cornstarch.
But that's the only just cornstarch, yeah. That's what I'm chasing every single time, and every single time I fail to get it. And the only one, literally the only one that has ever met my expectation is the Queen Amon. So I think that you could,
Pass.
maybe stop and be okay. Yeah. Or
Yeah.
or if you nail it, like kudos to you, because that is the triumph of all triumphs. Because
It is so hard.
I don't know about black sesame.
What about tangyuan for black sesame? I feel like it delivers it really well.
I have not had it, but I would.
Mm.
I just get the frozen ones, from Ranch
Oh.
99 with the like glutinous, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
chewy skin. I just spoil them.
Yeah, I could get into that.
The peanut filling ones are also good.
Yeah,
I think those are the top two flavors for tangyuan.
that's fair. Do you think the kids will like those, Sam? They're very like hit or miss on Tongyun.
It's hard to say. I just remembered when I was introduced to them as a kid, and like my mom was trying to explain it to me, but then she couldn't really explain it, and then like I only had my own sort of perception of it, and then like I remember biting into it, and there's just this black stuff comes out, and I'm like, oh, what is this? This is sesame, and like The only sesame I know of when I was a kid was like, like a sesame seed bun.
Like on a bagel?
Yeah. So I'm like, oh my goodness, what's wrong with these sesames? They all turn black.
Oh my gosh.
But as I grew older, like I did learn to appreciate the taste, and like it is a really yummy, toasty taste that I like.
Agreed. My sister-in-law, her family has like Taiwanese occasions that call for tongyun or tongyuan. And so we'll have it with them more often, but I feel like as Cantonese people, I'm not sure like what occasions call for it
Mm-hmm.
as like a required food or whatever.
Yeah.
I only recall having them maybe 3 times in the year, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what times of year that is.
Let's go back to your cookies and Asian flavors. What's your like dream besides black sesame? Either dream that you have started making or that you like want to pursue.
Okay, yes. I have been thinking about this for like 3 years. The
Oh,
main
girl, get started.
I hadn't even like I was prepping for this chat and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll probably want to talk about like certain cookies," but this wasn't even in my notes. I just immediately thought of it. So, ball bao or pineapple bun is
Mm.
famously without pineapple, which
True.
and as like a Chinese person, I understand, but explaining that to other people, they're like, "Oh, so there's pineapple in it, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And so I just think it's so ironic that it just like kind of looks like pineapple, but ideally I'd want to make like a cross between pineapple bun with like that cookie top
Mm-hmm.
and the Taiwanese pineapple cakes that have the filling.
Yeah. Oh my
Ooh,
God.
interesting. Yeah.
I think that would be amazing. I think it would be like in my head, like kind of fixes or
Yeah.
like,
Mhm.
you
Okay.
know,
Here's what you do. Jessica Fu,
yes.
she at the pop-up that she did a couple weeks ago, she did a pineapple guava one, and it was one of the best bites I've had in a long time.
Mhm.
So you get her to do like the fillingy parts, and then you do the sort of like cookie shell with the bala bao like overlay on top.
Mm.
And then everyone eats one and they die happy.
Yes. And then they go to heaven and they come back for more.
That's right. Yes.
That's actually an amazing idea. I took notes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I need to try that one. Like, I don't like cake, but Jessica's cakes they're my favorite. Like, I would cater her cake for our wedding if it's local.
They're incredible. Yeah, no, Jessica, I forgot to tell you this in person privately. So here it is on a public podcast. Her slice of cake that we got, it was like a jasmine tea, cream, kiwis, and I think blood oranges. And I was like, okay, like I like those things. They don't like immediately scream my flavor profile. And then I took a bite and I was like, this is legitimately the best cake that I've had in a very long time. It was so good.
Yes. I'm so happy that you had a chance to try her stuff. I
Mhm.
always wish that I could get her cake more often because it's so good.
Mhm. Yeah.
We did a collaboration before where it was a cornflake box. So I did a cornflake cookie and it was like sweet savory. And she did cornflake cake and it was also like similarly sweet savory, but just adapted for her cake format.
Wow.
What is a cornflake cake? Like I mean, I imagine this is incredible. I believe you. And also like I need more details.
I'm going to take a stab at explaining her cake and I'm probably going to get it wrong, but I think it was a little bit of miso or miso like
Mm.
flavors to bring in those umami qualities. And then a cornflake crunch, and then her buttercream was flavored, I think. Yeah.
Oh.
And it was just like a subtle sweet salty in
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
That sounds great.
What about your cookie? What was the
Yeah.
the savory part of that?
I use miso and a few other secret ingredients to make it like more complex in the savory side, besides just salt. And then I also have some sweet flavors like milk powder marshmallow. So if you heat it, you get this like beautiful marshmallow
Ooh,
pull.
nice.
And then we make a cornflake crunch in-house, and it's sweet, salty, milky, buttery, and like I can eat heaps of that. It's a really like crunchy, chewy cookie. It's just so much going on, but it's a really good balance of sweet, salty.
Amy, I'm on your website right now, and that does not seem to be an option for me to order.
No, but I think that I'm gonna put it on the opening menu for our storefront.
That sounds incredible.
Yay.
Yeah, I think it's one of my favorite flavors.
I want that now. We even ate lunch before this one, and I'm still like, cookie, 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 cookie.
I'm glad you guys ate before podcast because I always salivate hearing about all the foods on this podcast.
Usually we don't, and it's a bad idea.
Like going grocery shopping on an empty stomach.
Except the groceries are like the most just delicious, nostalgic childhood food that comes filled with good memories and all of the other things that just awaken all of the senses
Food that you can't have.
that I can't have. It's fine. What else is like a dream Asian flavor? Also, because you talked about like this whole in your questionnaire, this idea of like not too sweet as a compliment. I feel like some of these look like they fall under not too sweet, and some look like they fall under sweet.
We do have cookies that lean sweeter. Like, obviously, chocolate chip is going to be like more like catered to the American palate. Or like, we have a campfire cookie that is basically a s'more, but homogenous in cookie form. Like, you don't have three different textures. It's all kind of like the similar textures, but like crispy edges and like a softer center. And
that's what's wrong with s'mores.
It's too sweet, also.
They're too sweet, and it's like I'm gonna break through a cracker, and then I'm gonna get to goo. And what do I do with that?
Exactly. Yeah. So brown butter was like an obvious choice for this one, like a very particular sugar ratio to control the sweetness and account for like the mix-ins that are sweet. And then, of course, we do marshmallows, and then we did dark chocolate instead of crappy Hershey's milk chocolate.
You can say it; it's fine.
And more salt. Needs salt. Yeah, it's like an adult s'more.
Nice.
So we have those like more elevated classics. Like our cookies and cream is actually, it's like cookies and cream, but make it more Oreo, more brown butter, more salt, and then like make it less sweet. And so it's just like, it's so flavorful. So my complaint with the not too sweet compliment is like, not too sweet is typically the highest praise you hear from Asians, but I think for us it's a starting point. Like we want you to be able to eat the cookies and love the cookies, but we also designed this flavor experience for each and every one of the cookies. So we want people to notice more.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, I guess this like totally tracks, and we've talked about this, but like that sweetness, the too sweet isn't because like things are inherently too sweet. It's because the sweet is the only flavor.
Yeah.
And is overpowering everything else.
Exactly.
No.
So we want to always like start by like taking away some sweetness and then like developing the flavors a little bit more. So it's like, it's more complex. Yeah. That's a good example. Like, I think I want to say our ginger molasses is like really complex and really like a ginger journey. It's not just that it's like less sweet. There's like so many spices going on. Like the standard ginger molasses recipe is like 4 or 5 spices, and ours is like a lot more than that. Yeah. And thankfully, we don't have to disclose how many spices, but yeah.
More than 5.
More than 5.
That's great.
Wow. That's a fun one.
A hard pivot, sort of. You went from tech marketing to cookies. How did that land with your dad?
Oh, yeah, not good. Not good at all. I'm going to try to be positive. I don't want to talk shit publicly.
Fair.
I think my dad was like really worried because I was the child that had this kind of English focused degree who then chose a very secure path, like
Mhm.
working in tech, working for a marketing agency. These are all great like money makers. And then I went and threw it all away. So, yeah, I think he just was extremely worried. And I think he came around to the idea of me doing this as a full time career maybe a year ago. So we were already like 3.5, 4 years in. Like
Mhm.
had already raised funding. We were about to start construction, and he saw, oh, okay, like you work a lot, and it's clearly a full time job. You're clearly taking this seriously. Okay, I guess I'm gonna let you do it. Yeah, I think it's like our elephant in the room, but
Mm.
I can see he's very worried for me.
Hmm.
Do you think if your dad could start a lasagna shop, he would?
He totally should. I mean, the man works so hard, and well, I think someone would have to help him with the marketing because he's kind of a curmudgeonly old man, and he's very much like the soup Nazi in Seinfeld. Very no soup for you.
Mhm. No crab lasagna for you?
Exactly. You can't have my delicious dish anyways.
Well, Amy, you do have a marketing background.
Yeah.
I could help him with it.
I smell
Yeah.
a family business.
That would be hilarious. He's currently busy traveling. Maybe he's getting inspiration from the world, but he was like just in Vietnam, Portugal, Spain. I'm like,
Oh,
he's living his best life.
good for him. Those all sound like great inspiration for lasagnas.
Yeah. Like, you should go to Italy.
Yeah.
I think that someone tragically threw away his lasagna pan.
No.
Yeah.
Was this like an all edges pan?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
is it because like yeah, you could take off like one like it was quarters, like one section at a time.
Oh, interesting.
Hmm.
I don't know that one. I just know that one that works for like brownies also. That's just like a little like mazy snake thing where you're like, oh, and every piece is an edge. And I'm like, do I want that? I don't know.
Yeah, are you an edge person?
It depends on the thing.
It's our oldest child's worst nightmare because she hates edge pieces.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
She's in all centers.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. So she likes the fudgy.
Is that true for brownies or just lasagna, Sam?
I want to say it's true for everything.
Most things. Do you think
Yeah.
it's braces or just her?
It's partially braces related, but I think it's going to last her entire life.
Yeah, I do too, actually. You know, I'm not going to say she gets that from me because I don't know that that is an inherent pass downable trait. But I think I have more centers than edges also.
Fudgy can be good. I
Mhm.
like both.
I like a chewy cookie
Yes.
more than a crispy one.
I hear that.
I do too, actually.
Yeah. Cookies are so preferential. We also have like these smaller, crisp edge, like chewy centered cookies. Those are our classics.
Mm.
And like I actually eat those more because they're just smaller. And you can't get high off your own supply, but that's the one I eat. Like I eat our Dulce chocolate chip and the most. And yeah. But the pudges, I save my pudge allotment for like test pudges, or I honestly eat ube dulce so much.
That sounds delicious. I mean, I'm looking at it too, which is maybe a bad way to do a podcast, but with just a dozen cookies in front of me on screen. The pudges look big. How could you just go through a handful of them? Who
I
could?
know.
Cookie Monster?
The record for most pudges eaten in one sitting is currently 3 that I know of.
Wow.
That feels like a lot.
Yeah. I definitely don't recommend it. I do recommend moderation for our pudges.
Were they different flavors?
I think they were 3 different flavors.
Okay. At least that.
Yeah.
Variety.
Okay, the pudge does sort of beg to have like a ball about top. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, it looks perfect for it. Like they're so round
Yeah.
on top. Yeah. One day I'll figure that out.
I was gonna say I'm not gonna like force you to make any business commitments on this podcast, but like, could you make that, Amy, please?
We'll be happy to test it for you.
Yeah, we'll be happy to test it.
You can watch us eat it too.
Ooh.
Yep.
Okay, the next podcast is just going to be me watching you guys eat
Eat
this
cookies.
cookie
Yes.
and give feedback.
Yeah.
I want to say, like, I do have so many aspirational cookies. The ball bao cookie is top on my list, but I also feel like I'm not ready for it
Why?
because I can't quite figure out what flavor
Goes
the
underneath.
pineapple cake. Yeah, the cookie
Mm.
base. Like it tastes like butter, right?
It just tastes like butter.
Yeah.
Let me throw a different thing at you to get you thinking about things. A gaime bao cookie.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I kind of stumbled into that flavor because I meant to make something with a milky base and it came out tasting like coconut milk.
Mm.
But like not coconut milk, but gai mei bao, like that
Yeah.
exact flavor.
For listeners, gaime bao it translates to cocktail bun. It means none of that, and it's like a sweet bread that's filled with like a coconut paste or coconut in sort of like a buttery, pasty, fillingy thing. It's sort of thick, but coconutty and really buttery and sweet. And trying to explain how that's a cocktail bun to anyone is difficult. It's in the design. It's supposed to look like a rooster tail.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I know. No, I didn't know that till I was an adult for sure. These are the things about Chinese naming conventions.
Yeah.
But they were my favorite bun as a kid.
I did eat that a lot growing up, but when I accidentally stumbled into that exact flavor profile, I thought, no one's going to understand what flavor this is. But it's so exact, it's so precise.
Mhm.
I don't know what the demand is for that exact flavor profile or how I'm going to tell people what this is.
In this group, it's high. Demand is high.
Okay. Do Mandarin speakers know it and Cantonese?
Oh, I have no idea. Good question.
Ooh,
Sure.
I'm going to have to ask people.
I think either way, there is a market for like a buttery coconut cookie, right? Like there is the market that enjoys an almond joy, but no, I know.
Ew.
But without the like cloying part of it and with the like butter undertones, I think you could like bring the almond joy people over to be gaime bao people via your cookie.
That's a great
And
idea.
then you are like assimilating the almond joy people to the diasporic bakery world. So it's a whole cultural thing you're doing via cookie.
I think I just need to run a poll that says, do you like almond joy? Can you test this cookie?
Do you not like coconut? Would you not test this cookie yourself?
I don't like coconut.
Oh.
Oh,
Interesting.
so gaime bao is like off the table for you?
Actually, I just don't like shredded coconut either. Is there shredded coconut?
Oh,
But
yeah.
I like the taste of the bread.
Yeah. Okay.
There's that. And then I do also like coconut milk. I don't know. I think it's just shredded coconut and that fakeness that I don't like.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, if you ever go down this path, you've got two very willing testers.
Excellent. I always get requests for people who want to be testers, which is really cute because actually sometimes I do like outsource my testing. Like sometimes I'm not the best tester for my cookies. So
Mm.
like Earl Grey, I also don't like chocolate. Yeah, I don't like dark chocolate.
Amy, that feels like a requirement for the job, no?
Yes. Yes, I have like a couple testers who are great at doing my red velvet and any dark chocolate flavors. Like I have other people to test for me. And then like I really love caramelized white chocolate and I do like white chocolate. So all the fake stuff.
But you don't like the fakeness of the shredded coconut? Amy, I have so many questions. We don't have time for them. You know what? I'm not going to yuck anybody's yums. You clearly know how to deal with flavors well and have overcome your own given handicap of not liking chocolate, but still managing to get it into your cookies in an excellent way. But wow. Just wow with the white chocolate.
I know it's like the fakest one, but something about it. But I do think that caramelized white chocolate like deserves its own spot, you know. It should be recognized.
Okay, what is that though? Like how are we caramelizing a white chocolate?
Well, first step we buy it from Valrhona, but if you were to make it
Oh,
at
I see.
home, you can make it at home. I have done it. You just like bake your white chocolate low and slow for like a while until it literally turns golden and it's all melty and stuff. And it's now like a toasty butterscotchy flavor and it
Okay.
has creaminess.
Okay.
Yeah, it has a
Okay.
lot more development.
I could get on board with that, but it's maybe going to need a rebrand for my palate to not be like, what? What? No. No chocolate on white chocolate.
Yeah, that's why I call it the Dulce chocolate because that's Valrhona's brand name for it. So we use it in like our ube dulce, which is a really great complementary flavor
Got
for ube.
it.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a fancy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because we had an ube white chocolate cookie not that long ago, right?
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
It was good. And also we were like, I wish this wasn't white chocolate.
Yeah, I think the flavor profile is like too simple to pair with ube.
It was very stark
Yeah,
in the ube to white chocolate sort of contrast. There wasn't enough like interesting depth to it.
yeah. Ube was like the most requested flavor from us for about 2 years, and I wasn't planning to do it because I wasn't familiar with the flavor. Like I didn't grow up with it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But then I tried this dessert that was like a ube caramel flan, and I was like, oh, you can make this really good. You just have to like give the ube some help.
Mhm.
You need to like make it more complex, like a little bit more body to it because it's kind of a simple, subtle flavor.
Mhm.
The purple yam doesn't really taste like anything. And then we added toffee and the caramelized white chocolate, and it just gives it like way more complexity.
Nice.
Yeah.
Listen, we could probably spend another hour just talking about cookies, and I'm not sure that, well, that's your job, so you probably need that, but the rest of us can't live life that way. I'm just going to be honest.
Not healthy for us.
Not in although I could put this, Sam, on my list of 100 desires. Thank you, Tracy G, because now I just desire all of these cookie flavors. Amy, this was super fun. I don't think we've ever gone this in depth with a guest on the making of anything, and certainly not the dish, something outside of the dish that they brought, which I love. Where can listeners find you, both virtually and at some point IRL?
Yeah. They can find us at our website and Instagram, and it's both Batch 22 Bakery. And then we're opening soon ish in Los Gatos, so 15466 Los Gatos Boulevard. I want to say late March, early April.
No, that's soon.
Yeah,
That's like sooner than I thought. That's great.
it's definitely going to happen.
And you're going to debut with a bala bao cookie? And no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm not ready, but maybe the world is.
Cornflake cookie?
Cornflake, ube, chocolate chip, I think strawberries and cream, and whatever else our data tells us is like top.
Okay, listen, I know that you're a marketer and you have worked deeply with data, I'm sure. And also, I would just like to make the case for making the thing that you want to make and then letting the people who want to find it.
Ooh. Actually, I should put this out there that I've been meaning to put out a like quarterly subscription box that's just test cookies and like maybe not cookies and just have fun with this box and make sure like I'm continuing to innovate for the cookies and I really want to start. I will soon.
Listeners at home, you can't see this, but I am nodding profusely and Sam was also. So I think that this is a banger of an idea, Amy, and sign us up.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just need to pull the trigger.
Trigger pulled. She's launching it,
Yes,
folks. You heard
it's
it
in
here
the ether.
first. Thanks, Amy. This was so great. We would love to have you back. We can't wait to try your cookies.
Thank you for having me.
Happy to have you again when you are open and you have more cookies for us to talk about.
When I finish the balabao cookie.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Hey, also, just a shout out to someone else's work, but Christina Cho has a White Rabbit fresh raspberry cookie that I haven't made yet, but like I definitely will, and it sounds amazing.
Yeah, I
Shout out.
listened to that and I wanted to try it because white rabbit would be a great Asian flavor.
Mm-hmm. Look, this is just me pushing you towards my more Asian flavors.
I'm here
That's
for
it.
it.
That's it. I'm not shy about my agenda.
All Asian flavors, classic American, anything is
Yeah.
cookieable, pudgeable.
Yes. Doing cross-cultural work.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks, y'all. Thank you, Amy. Listeners, if you would like to make your own lean go, Amy has got a recipe for us that involves more than just her grandmother's 2 random bowls and the bag with the green writing. We will get that up for you. If you would like to give it a try, be sure to share it with a friend or loved one or coworkers because it is not a thing to tackle on your own, no matter how much willpower you think you have. You just cannot will yourself through the whole thing. If you would like to find us, you can find us at worstqualitycrab.com. You can find us on Instagram at worstqualitycrab. And if you'd like to email us, you can do so at worstqualitycrabpod@gmail.com. And we will talk to everyone next time. Thanks so much, everybody. Bye.
Bye.